content without context is a very dangerous thing. Tonight, before we get into the content or the context, I want to give you some pretext to the talk of the why revolution. We call the World War II generation in this country, we call them the what? We call them the greatest generation. Well, what made them great? What made them great, in my opinion, is they knew their why. Every single day, everything that they did, everything they put their hands to, they knew the purpose behind why they did what they did. It was a powerful generation. Who defeated Nazi Germany? The greatest generation. Because these people knew a why. And they knew it so powerfully that it was inspiring to others. Come join the cause. Come be part of this and do something that matters. The greatest generation's children we know as the baby boomers. So the baby boomers came along, instead of focusing on the why, they focused on the what. And because they focused on the what, they focused on production and output. Production and output. And the manufacturing sector in the United States grew. But unfortunately, when you focus on what long enough, discontent arises in society. Hence, we have the late 60s and early 70s where riots were in the street. It was disrupting everywhere because people lost the sense of purpose. Baby boomer generation had some kids, and we call those kids Generation X. And the Generation X group, they're brilliant people, and they grew up with all this success, but they also grew up understanding that there is something missing in society. But so far gone from the why and understanding the what was not sufficient enough to produce inspiration in each other, they focused on the how. And because they focused on the how, we had a technological revolution in this country. Because very brilliant minds focused on process and perfected process. And that's when lean manufacturing and the lean processes and Six Sigma came into the narrative of American business. But the problem is, you see, when you focus on what long enough and you focus on how and you extend it out to its fullest extent, you're still left without meaning. And right now, we are having a full revolution back to why. The 5 questions that make up a story: who, what, when, where, why. Who, what, when, where only answer questions of the mind. They are facts and figures. They are logic-based questions that derive logic-based answers. The only question, though, that engages the heart is the question, why? I have a family friend who's a Holocaust survivor. And a few years ago, he pulls out his withered arm and he shows me the tattoos across his wrist. And he said, "Lucas, when you reduce someone to mere numbers, you've erased their humanity." Yes, we all have minds that desire to be compelled, but we also have hearts that deep down desire to be engaged. Inspired people inspire people. But conversely is true as well. Uninspired people uninspire people. And how many uninspired people are walking around right now? A lot of people. Why? Because they haven't been engaged in the heart. When you give someone universal truth, when you give someone universal context, they can breathe. And it breeds inspiration inside them. The only question that brings universal truths back to our narrative, back to our messaging, back to each other, back to our relationships is the question, why? Every other question after the question why is just particulars. It's only facts and figures. Understanding that you have the greatest opportunity to do great things for great people. And when we all see what we do as that, there's nothing that we experience and there's nothing that can't be overcome when we start treating each other like human beings again. The top two things that every single person on planet Earth desires, deep down to the very essence of their core, their DNA, their fiber, the matter that makes up the cells, those people, you and I, two things we desire, it's love and affirmation. How can you love someone if you don't actually see a universal concept? How can you affirm someone when you don't see them as a human being? Don't let anything fool you. At the end of the day, we're just human beings putting our heads on pillows, falling asleep, and waking up the next day to try to do our best. And if you want those people to buy your message, talk to those people like people.